Oh, I can't do this anymore, man. Like, this cannot go on. This simply has to stop now, right now. The worst form apparently for Chelsea since early 90s. I just had the commentary team say on my TV before I turned the TV off, since like loads of losses in a row, a complete ineptitude, good players looking terrible. Awful, 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 unacceptable. No, nothing to say. No bright spots. You know, top to bottom, rotten. Clearlake out. Sporting directors out. Liam Rosenior seems like a nice guy. I'm rooting for him. Not really anymore. He can go tonight. In fact, I think he probably should be sacked. The players, a lot of them I have sympathy for, but they look like clueless now. Apparently, the Chelsea team have been outrun by every single Premier League team this season, which is absolutely mental. I know we probably play in a play style that's conducive to keeping the ball and therefore running less, but there was a statistic in this game, in this away loss at Everton, who, by the way, this is their first consecutive win at home, beating Chelsea, battering Chelsea 3-0, did not flatter them at all. Beto hadn't scored a goal since January, but then again, Rob Sanchez hadn't kept a clean sheet since January. So, you know, there's the two obvious forces colliding. Beto gets 2 goals and an assist. It's his first brace for over an entire year. The list can go on. Yeah. Look, man, let me speak of my position. This is my job. Yeah, I love talking about Chelsea. I love talking about football. Generally, that's why I have a second channel. But this is effing miserable, man. This is like, I love my club. It's miserable being a supporter. I love my job. It's miserable covering Chelsea at the moment. Do you know what I mean? I genuinely, it's doing negative stuff to my health. I've spoken at detail on after the embarrassing loss to PSG, but this is equally embarrassing. You know, I've said it, I would not cry for any of these owners if they left today. I don't think they're going anywhere. At most, I can hope for, if the briefings were true, a Todd Bowley buyout of Clearlake, because Clearlake seem to be the ones that, well, with Badad Igbali, that have leaned into this sporting director horrific build. Daniel Finkelstein, Lord Danny, you can effing do one as well with your comments about building the best effing team in the world. Look at what you've created. Robert Sanchez is going to deserve a mention because he let a goal go straight through him. Fofana was tragic on the first goal, but so was Sanchez. Look, Ndiaye scored a worldie, postage stamp. He's an amazing footballer. But it's not about the Beto brace and assist for Ndiaye, which was a great goal. It's about it is about Everton as well. Credit to Everton. An excellent game. They played really well. They battered Chelsea. It was 3-0. Could have been maybe 5-0. You know, Pickford did make a few good stuff. Sorry, I just looked at something. You got to laugh. Chelsea. So look, I love stats. Yeah, Jan the stat man. I'm still him, and I will remain to look at. I will continue to look at stats and analyze players moving forwards. I love all that. But Chelsea had a bigger XG than Everton. Chelsea created more big chances than Everton. Chelsea had more shots than Everton. But that does not tell the story of this game. Sometimes metrics help you quantify what happened. This game was for the eye test. We looked lost. We looked bereft of ideas, the ineptitude. You had Palmer screaming at Pedro Neto. I was screaming at Pedro Neto watching this game. Fofana, yep. You know what, guys? Trash for weeks. For weeks. I was trying to give him the benefit of the doubt of Ramadan. I think he's got a high ceiling. I love to watch him play when he's playing well. But when you've been playing trash for weeks, I mean, it's catching though, isn't it? Everyone is. But like, I do, trust me, guys. I bang on about Fofana. I'm looking at you dead in the eye. Hold on. Trash for ages. Terrible performances. Yeah. So don't think for any reason I'm going to say otherwise, or it would be churlish, or it would be remiss of me not to highlight that. I do. I wonder for Wesley Fofana, a player who I've loved watching for, at points, how he would perform in another team, in a team with adults and consistency and in front of a good goalkeeper. But unfortunately, like the rest of these young poor soldiers on the Chelsea war field, they're playing in a constant rotation of dysfunctional failure. Under the dark rule of a sporting dictatorship who have the arrogance to think they know how they're going to get ahead and how they're disruptors, when the truth is there's profound inability to build a winning team. The rotation doesn't work. Yes, I get it. They've been overcooked with the World Cup and whatever. But this is what you get, man. This is the fruits of your labor. You reap what you sow, and you went and sowed a big freaking pile of dung tree seeds. I'm not going to swear because I understand people listen to this with their children, but you probably know what I want to say. It's awful. And it has to change. Look, I'm done, bro. I simply cannot do this anymore. Yeah? I've expressed in detail about my concerns about ownership change. Not like these owners can go tonight and I'll be excited because whatever I'm seeing you'd think would stop. But what I am afraid of is just more change for the club, the players, and the further we get from Abramovich ownership, I was going to say the closer we get to it, Everton, but the way Everton played tonight, that would be quite good. I just have fear that over the years, and if we change owners all the time, we will just become mid-table obscurity, and everyone will be like, yeah, but you remember back in, the early noughties, Abramovich bought them, they were good for a while. And yes, I've spoken about geopolitics and my concerns, but the fact remains, this cannot go on. This cannot go on. It cannot go on. It has to stop tonight. And that might be sacking Liam Rosenior, genuinely. I'll tell you why, because the season's not dead, bro. Yeah? The season's not dead. We are in 6th place. Oh my... Yeah. Can Brentford overtake us? No, they can't. So, at the end of this game week, we will be guaranteed 6th place, and that is a point behind a Champions League spot with a much better goal difference than Liverpool, who of course lost. We play Liverpool. We play Man United. Aston Villa still play Thursday night football. There is Champions League qualification there available to us, should we want it. Yeah? We've got to beat Port Vale at home to get to the FA Cup semi-final, which is at Wembley. No disrespect to Port Vale, I'm going to call that a bye to the semi-final, because if it isn't, it's a historical disgrace. A home tie against Port Vale, you qualify for, you go to Wembley. Wembley's there. Wembley beckons. It's asking you to go and play football there. Champions League football qualification is there. It is quite literally in your hands. It's quite literally available to you. But watching what we've seen these last games, totally, there's no chance. There's not a single chance, not a single possibility that happens. And genuinely, I would not be surprised at all to hear some news tonight or tomorrow. And then I'll have to film again and talk about that. I will continue talking to you guys, my friends, my viewers. I'm going to continue my job, but it's times like this I'm just like, I hate it, man. I like reading the Chelsea news. I did it before I was a YouTuber. I did it before I did the podcast before YouTube. I'd get up, I'd look at Chelsea news every day, I'd watch other content creators, and me making that content, I'm not going to stop. We could be in League One and I'd still do it. I'd be like, who are Chelsea going to buy? Let's look at the stats of this player if they're available to, Football League players. I would still do it. I'd probably have to get one of my old jobs back, but I would still do this. I'd still do it. But this has got to end. Let's talk. I'm not going to... The fact how we won the XG battle against PSG over 2 legs and won the XG battle against this game against Everton is a real bad look for the freaking XG model, isn't it? Sanchez, Hato, Fofana, Gusto, Cucurella, Lavia, who I was genuinely quite excited to see start. He made a couple of line-breaking passes, but that was sort of it. And then Santos came on. Neto, terrible, absolute buttocks on the left wing. Of course, he is playing out of position. He is a streaky player. Enzo Fernandez in the de facto number 10, the player that wants to leave and apparently we're trying to keep him by paying him silly money. I don't know if we believe that. Cole Palmer, who's looking increasingly frustrated, despite him doing a lot of England promo in the new shirt. You've got a feeling that he's probably thinking, yeah, I'll go to the World Cup if I just score the odd goal now. He'll be playing in this. He'll be like, I've echoed what he said to you guys. Life under Liam is amazing. He almost took a dig at like Enzo Maresca in terms of, how he lets them play. Well, I tell you what, how you're all being allowed to play now. Like a big cauldron of pure sewage. That's what I'm getting in these last few games. Joao Pedro. Now, you can say it's the Liam Rosinia tactics, and I'm inclined to probably agree at this point. But David Cartledge, football journalist, he goes on the Stack Pod stuff. He does a lot of football ramble every now and again. He says Joao Pedro, amazing, talented player, but he's one of the most streaky players ever. He'll score 7 in 10, and then he won't score for 10 or something like that, he said. I wonder if this is symptomatic of that statement, but of course, maybe it's just because everything's falling apart and burning. Substitutes off the bench, Liam Delap, I'm starting to feel sorry for this guy. Tosineta Abioyo, whatever. Santos for Lavia, straight swap. Gusto, Garnacho came on for Gusto, which saw a shape change. Caicedo went to right back, of course. And Estevao came on, one of his first actions, he nearly immediately scored an Olympico, which he's tried again. He got he was probably the only player genuinely that got Chelsea fans off their feet. And by the way, if you were at the Hill Dickinson Chelsea fans, well done for going to support the team. And I'm sorry you had to freaking endure that, man. Genuinely, I feel so bad for the Chelsea fans recently. Like all the Chelsea fans, everyone involved. I do feel so sorry for everyone. Poor performances, of course. Fofana has been trash. Champong should be watching that like, that's my space now. Sanchez. I just can't. We don't have half a goalkeeper between our entire roster, man. Sanchez is he's so bad. He can put in like the odd good save, play the odd good long ball, but the inconsistency undermines anything he does good. That goal, that second one from Beto, the first goal, right, is terrible from front to back. Joao Pedro, neither of the midfielders. Lavia looks really bad in it. Everyone lets it go. And then it's, the clown twins between Fofana and Sanchez. Fofana's screaming at Sanchez to sweep it. He doesn't. Beto finishes it. It's more on Fofana if you ask me, but he's expecting Sanchez to do something that he doesn't. To be honest, I'm not surprised that he didn't, because by the time that first goal comes in, Everton have been all over us anyway. So, yeah. The second goal is an absolute disgrace from a goalkeeping perspective. Just go straight through him. Like, if your football league, local club, or non-league club, if the goalkeeper did that, you'd be like, oh, he's had a howler there. This is Chelsea effing Football Club here. How have we gone from everyone to Sanchez and Jorgensen? We sold our best goalkeeper on the books in Petrovic, and he's not good enough to be Chelsea goalkeeper, but he was the best one on the books we had. Yeah. We sold him because he wanted to be, he said he demanded to be Chelsea's first choice. But we were like, no, we want to give Sanchez a go again. Sanchez has been benched by Petrovic. Maresca did bench Sanchez for a while for Jorgensen before, if he's probably asked to bring him back in. Liam Rosinia recently benched Sanchez for Jorgensen after he had, quite a good game at Villa, and Sanchez looked rattled at games. and it was forced to bring him back in. I think Phillips had, surgery. It might even be a conspiracy just to say he's been dropped. I have no idea what's going on. We haven't got two goalkeepers to make a half a goalkeeper. Genuinely, I throw Gaga Slonina, and I don't effing know, man. Mike Penders again as a kid. Is he the answer? It's pretty disgraceful, man. I'm clutching at straws to find anything to find, because we've got to. There's a season to be salvaged, but not like this. There's no shining light to what we've seen. I've got nothing else to say, man. I'm sorry for being this way inclined, but we're screwed, bro. As it stands, he's got. I mean, but nothing against Rosenior. I was hoping it would work with him. I like how he talks. I like how he talks about players. The players seem to speak positively about him. But I've seen enough, bro. This is record-breaking. I'm so close to just saying curses, which I'm not going to say. This is record-breakingly poor now. It's got to stop. It's simply got to stop. It's got to stop. Like, put Callum in. Genuinely, put Callum in charge. Give it to him the rest of the season. Callum McFarlane. Or Shane, as I was calling him randomly for a while, which is quite funny. I'd sack Rosenior, put McFarlane in at the end of the season, say, see if you can I wouldn't give him the job, even if he gets us Champions League and wins the FA Cup. And I'd just, I don't know, try and get Nagelsmann in the summer. Who, again, is like, he's like a massive people pleaser. Not a people pleaser, that's the wrong word, sorry. He's not a people pleaser. He shares the philosophy of Rosenior that it's all about mentality, working with people, and a little bit about tactics. But at this point, we're going to need a little bit more tactics, mate, I'm afraid. Sorry for being miserable, guys. I will be back every day. Stick with me. I'll stick with you. Peace.